Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. We're here to have an exciting announcement today of progress. And Louisville, like cities across our nation, is facing a really critical challenge in addressing the needs of people experiencing homelessness. Our goal is to help these folks transition from the street into more stable shelter and then onto a path to permanent supportive housing. We've been doing this work for years with many great nonprofit partners on many fronts to realize this goal, and frankly, resources have been a real impediment for us, but with the American Rescue Plan dollars, we hope to change that. In 2017, I created the Mayor's Homelessness Task Force, and that was a collaborative effort, still is, with more than 20 organizations that work together to identify gaps and barriers and opportunities in finding shelter and permanent housing for those who are houseless. Louisville Metro also funds the Unsheltered Homeless Initiatives, working with 9 homeless service providers that provide 3 options for low-barrier shelter beds, a permanent storage location, and expanded street outreach. And we've created the RCS's Homeless Services Division to build capacity around communications, project management, and outreach with businesses and residents. And while we continue to provide resources in this time of COVID, we're providing resources and funds to stop evictions, we're also increasing our efforts around homelessness amid fears that the COVID-19 crisis could possibly increase homelessness as those who were already struggling lose wages, jobs, and access to child care and many other challenges. In this fiscal year 22 budget, which went into effect on July the 1st, we allocated another $10 million to the Louisville Affordable Housing Trust Fund, bringing the total investment in the trust fund and the Louisville Cares to more than $66 million. I want to recognize Councilman Bill Hollander here for being such an important advocate and champion in that effort. Thank you, Bill, and you'll hear from him shortly. We also, in this budget, have $3 million in down payment assistance to help address income and wealth gaps between majority and minority communities by helping more Louisville families become homeowners. And we have more than $20 million in grants to our community partners and metro agencies for housing and support services specifically related to homelessness and affordable housing. Now, as you know, at the height of the pandemic, Louisville Metro observed shelter-in-place guidelines, cleaning but not clearing, in order to mitigate the spread of the virus and to help facilitate the distribution of vaccines. At the same time, our Office of Resilience and Community Services and related agencies work to improve our homeless encampment assessment practices, including developing a risk assessment to determine when encampments should be cleaned or cleared. More recently, as it became clear that conditions at several camps had severely deteriorated, causing health and safety concerns, we resumed the clearing process, again moving through the risk assessment process and working with partners to provide adequate notice and needed support services. We've also been intently focused on working with our partners on more sweeping solutions to the homelessness challenge. That's why last month we announced a multi-pronged plan for transitioning our unsheltered neighbors into sustainable housing. That 4-phase plan includes a pilot initiative to establish a safe outdoor space, a transitional housing effort to offer indoor housing within a safe, supportive, and client-centered environment, a more permanent supportive housing options developed in partnership with service providers, and finally, increased funding for affordable housing. So I want to emphasize this is a system, a 4-part system. Today, I am pleased to announce progress on the first element of that plan. And this is not the only thing that's going to happen, but it is the first part of it. And this is on the safe space outdoors. So Louisville Metro is purchasing a property at 212 East College Street to use initially for a safe outdoor space pilot effort for individuals experiencing homelessness that wish to stay outdoors. Our goal is to create a temporary space for people who are currently living in unsafe and unhealthy situations on our streets. In this new space, men, women, couples, and their pets can live outside, secure their belongings, and access food, showers, toilets, and importantly, services to help them address the issues that are keeping them from more permanent housing. This property is in close proximity to many of those services, and others will be provided on site. We initially planned for 3 to 4 dozen people to set up, based in part on a recent University of Louisville survey of 111 people living on the streets, in which a majority said they would use a safe outdoor space, and that includes many who've repeatedly declined indoor shelter despite encouragement from our outreach teams. We're not able to have families at this site, but our city's common assessment team will continue prioritizing families for emergency shelter. I want to stress again that this is just one step in the multi-pronged approach we announced in July for creating shelter and housing for individuals experiencing houselessness. It is meant to be a temporary stop for individuals that ultimately put them on a path to housing stability. So, next steps. First, Louisville Metro will issue a request for proposals to identify an operating manager who will oversee the safe outdoor space. While individuals will be allowed to set up their own tents to start, we also plan to invest in a more robust infrastructure, including semi-permanent housing structures, lighting, and bathroom facilities. The location also has the potential to become a future site for affordable housing at some point if we deem that appropriate. And that's because we agree with the many individuals and nonprofits working to end homelessness that real progress requires that we have significantly increased number of affordable housing in our community, especially at the lower than 30% AMI rate. But again, for now, we must address the immediate challenge of providing a safer, healthier space for folks who, for whatever reason, will not utilize an indoor shelter. In creating plans for this temporary space, our RCS staff extensively studied safe outdoor spaces in other cities, such as Denver and Santa Rosa, California, to find best practices that we could base our approach on. And to tell us more about that and other information is Tamika Laird, Director of the Office of Resilience and Community Services. Director Laird.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. The Office of Resilience and Community Services is proud to serve alongside our collaboration of many partners who provide living unsheltered with the tools that they need to change their lives for the better. I want to especially thank the Coalition for the Homeless, the Continuum of Care, and its members for all that they do to rebuild and strengthen our residents experiencing homelessness. And I especially want to give a shout out to our incredible outreach partners who visit the homeless encampment sites every day to provide resources, services, and hope. We know there is no one-size-fits-all to end homelessness. RCS and our partners stand ready to meet people where they are and offer support throughout the journey of exiting homelessness. The safe outdoor space will help us to accomplish a goal, making it easy for us to connect to individuals. A myriad of partners will be on hand this site to offer supportive wraparound services such as healthcare, housing navigation, and other supportive services such as behavioral and mental health, counseling, drug and alcohol addiction and assessments. Our RCS researched the Safe Place outdoor spaces across the nation to build our best practices and to benefit the lessons learned from other cities, like those we found in Denver and Santa Rosa, California. These spaces have operated with following results. Since opening in December 2020, the Safe Outdoor Space in Denver had made over 180 case management appointments. 15 transitioned into long-term housing. 8 of them went to permanent housing and had permanent outcomes. 7 actually had temporary transitional housing. In addition, over 25 applications for housing have been completed. And since December 2020, Santa Rosa opened, nearly 280 individuals have been served. 60 individuals were placed in shelter. 12 were moved into permanent housing. The Safe Outdoor Space model provides many advantages, including consistent services and consistent touch points, for which help stabilize people experiencing unsheltered homelessness. So thank you, Mayor, again, and thank you, Metro Council, for allocating resources to make vital community resource available in our city. Today, I want to share an update on the new risk assessment tool now being utilized to assess homeless encampments. We launched this new tool in late July and have already seen many benefits. This new tool uses the Survey 123 platform, which is GIS coding. I bet you're asking me, what is GIS? It is the Geographic Information System, which helps to streamline data sharing and communications. It also provides an objective way to assess health and safety risk. And it helps to determine the level of services need to be deployed at our homeless encampments. Decisions involving the 21-day postings at our encampments are based on risk levels involving health and safety concerns. Our new assessment process helps to ensure a smooth transition for encampment residents when a clearing is warranted. I commend our RCS team for their hard work and innovation in improving this process and developing this new risk assessment tool. Finally, I am pleased to announce, and I say I am pleased, to announce that RCS is seeking a partner to operate and manage the Safe Outdoor Space. This coming Monday, August the 23rd, RCS will release an RFP, also known as a NOFA, Notice of Funding Availability, to the Safe Outdoor Space. It is exciting resource that we look forward to working with organizations committed to helping with this effort. Starting Monday, we encourage all interested organizations to visit our website at Louisville, spell out Louisville, ky.gov/RCS for more information, including an application guide with services expectation. I just want to repeat that one more time. Starting Monday, we encourage all interested organizations to visit our website at Louisville, spell out Louisville, ky.gov/RCS for more information, including the application guide and services expectations. Thank you for being here today, and I want to turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Tamika. Props to you and the whole RCS team for all the progress being made here. Nice job. Also want to recognize Marilyn Harris over here, who, amongst other things, has been a real champion in our eviction prevention activity, and her work was recognized by the White House this past Tuesday as the national best practice in this effort. It was explained to other cities that wanted to learn from us on how to deploy the funds as quickly as we have through you and RCS and all the other team efforts. So you're doing a great job on that, Marilyn. Also like to recognize David James here, Council President. Thank you for joining us today. He was a strong supporter of this initiative, so thank you for the support of the Council, Mr. President. Now, we all know that homelessness and affordable housing were identified as one of the top priorities for investing the city's share of federal American Rescue Plan funding. And these are priorities that our community identified in surveys and public meetings. And just last night, Metro Council took steps toward affirming those priorities with a committee vote approving a resolution listing them and some probable projects within each area, like the one that we're discussing here today. Really grateful to our partners on the council for their hard work around this, particularly Councilman Bill Hollander and Kevin Kramer, who headed up the public feedback sessions. So Councilman Hollander, if you would say a few words, please. Councilman Hollander is truly a man of compassion who has demonstrated throughout his almost 8 years tenure as a council person that he is a champion for people, a champion for affordable housing, and he certainly understands the needs that we have in our community and is fearless in standing up for them, which we really appreciate. Councilman Bill Hollander.
Thank you, Mayor. The growing number of Louisville's houseless neighbors is heartbreaking and should make all of us think about what we can do, including things we haven't tried before. We know that the public is thinking about what we can do. We heard that loud and clear in the public comment sessions that were organized by President James's office and in the public comments that we got online. This is one of those things. Clearly, though, and I think we want to be very clear about this, this is a first temporary step. No one believes it is the last one or that it is the permanent solution to what we are seeing on our streets. The solution to houselessness is housing, and we need much more permanent supportive housing and other affordable housing in Louisville. It is a Metro Council priority for American Rescue Plan funds. Yesterday, as the mayor said, the council's budget committee unanimously passed a resolution naming priority areas for the use of American Rescue Plan local fiscal recovery funds. Houselessness and affordable housing is Category A, and the resolution specifically calls for funding proposals for, and I'm quoting now, reduction of homelessness through transitional housing, large-scale permanent supportive housing, and other forms of affordable housing, particularly directed at Louisville's lowest income residents who have been disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 public health emergency. We've been encouraging service providers in the community, mental and general healthcare organizations, addiction recovery providers, organizations that have been helping our homeless neighbors for decades, and newer ones, to work together and develop innovative and bigger scale proposals than we have ever seen in Louisville, the kind of efforts we simply haven't been able to fund in the past. We have a lot to do, and fortunately now, resources to begin doing it. And we are determined to reduce homelessness and provide safe, decent, and affordable housing for many, many more Louisville neighbors to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. You know, one of the things that we hear with the rescue plan is, and from people that are in the homeless advocates, is we need to spend all this money on permanent housing. To give you some idea of what that would cost, we've got about the need for about 30,000 units for those under 30% adjusted median income. It would cost about $4.5 billion to just meet that need. The rescue plan funds total about $388 million. So it's just a small part of what a big problem is. And then if you're saying, oh my gosh, you know, we've got this problem here in Louisville, this is a national problem. So while we have a $4 billion problem here, Cincinnati's problem is probably $6 billion. And Indianapolis is about $6 billion. So this is a huge federal crisis that frankly is probably only going to be resolved by some large federal program at some day. So in the meantime, we want to focus on chronic street homelessness issues so that we can provide transition options for them, in addition to building more permanent supportive housing, in addition to more affordable housing with partners, nonprofit partners, for-profit partners, so we can start looking at this in many different ways. And importantly, when these solutions come into place, that the services are provided on site so that people can transition to where their needs dictate they transition. So it's just a really large, unfortunate American problem that we have here, not just with the supply of housing, but the issues that led to people being on the streets and housing insecure to start with. So we're attempting to use these funds to do what we can do to improve the situation in Louisville. We certainly welcome all ideas for this, and we recognize too that homelessness makes a lot of people uncomfortable, right? Well, especially it's uncomfortable for those that are without a home or without a house. So when you're looking at solutions that might be in your neighborhood or approximately around where you are, we ask you to work with us so that we can understand how we need to work with you to meet your needs while we meet the needs of those suffering without shelter in our community as well. So I really want to thank the many individuals and organizations who have devoted their time and their treasure to helping those in our community who are experiencing homelessness, and look forward to working with everybody to continue to make progress on this challenge here in our community as we constantly move toward trying to be a city of even greater, ever greater compassion. So thank you. With that, we're happy to take any questions. Yeah, a lot of emotions, obviously, when you're talking about homelessness. So one of the great benefits we see, and we've seen in other areas, and Tamika, you might want to speak to this, is the safety that this provides for people that are experiencing homelessness. You know, in many situations right now, our people that are homeless are living in very dangerous, unprotected situations, either from the traffic or from people that just want to come by and be evil toward them. So this will be a safe space that, yes, has security, so people can come and go as they like, but so bad actors can't introduce themselves into a safe space such as this. So, as I said, people are free to come and go, but we think there should be a safety element associated with this, in addition to the other services that are available. So, Tamika, do you want to comment on that?
Sure. Absolutely, Mayor. When we looked at the best practices over other cities and states like Denver and Santa Rosa, one of the things that we asked about was security and safety. And surprising to know is that they had 0 to none of safety issues are actually concerns around criminal activity. And that was really something that really hit home for me, because we know that our homeless, our houseless community